Good morning. This play is called Mr. Gray's Gettysburg, and it's a two-act murder mystery. It's May 9th, 1950, and Mr. John Gray is 68 years old, a successful banker, and wealthy by investments with the Standard Oil Company since 1909. He had just married a young Georgia Belle in her 20s, Tiffany Hopkins, and approximately 10 months after a horrible event. And Mr. Gray wanted to make a silent motion picture of the Confederate Civil War, but he soon was murdered, and his son, Thornton L. was the one who might had murdered his father. And Thornton's a black man, and his mother was black too, when young Mr. Gray, a long time ago, made love in the hay barn. Mrs. Gray strolls to the table, picks up all the money, folds it, and stuffs it in her garter belt. Mr. Gray enters the parlor with a bloody bandage wrapped around his hand and pours himself a brandy. "What the hell kept you?"
I was seeing our two guests off.
"I bet you were."
Good night, John.
She moves to exit. "Stay here and have a drink with me."
I'm too tired.
She continues to exit. "You look wide awake to me. Stay a while."
But I'm dreadfully exhausted after your cheerful entertainment.
She once again moves to exit. "Do as I say!" She stops and turns with a smile.
Well, if you put it that way, John.
He hands her a brandy. "I know you're kind, always looking for an edge, weighing the odds in your favor. Your unassuming smile can disarm most worthy men."
Why did you marry me?
"Your daddy was indebted to me, and I liked what I saw. Then we solidified a gentleman's arrangement like a good old Yankee capitalism."
When he passes from this earth, I will leave you. But if I'm lucky, you'll be feeding the worms before my daddy ever does.
"If you weren't so beautiful, I'd be offended."
I fornicated with Colonel Brubaker on the night of your birthday.
He pours brandy in her glass. "Here, this should loosen your viper tongue a bit."
We were so hot and sweaty, we had to open a window to cool ourselves off. I felt nasty doing it in the servants' room. It made me feel dirty like a horny common hand. Just knowing you were in the house heightened my pleasure.
When the first moment my eyes laid on you, I realized you were uncontrollable, and I'd be forced to provide a stable large enough to contain you.
I told him everything.
Oh, don't goat me, girl.
Your butchery, your betrayals, and your buried gold.
Your daddy warned me that you were an exquisite liar.
You think you know me, John? What I know can destroy you.
My demise will come soon enough. But don't rush it, or you'll dread the day you were born. Now come on here and give me a kiss goodnight.
All right, only if it makes you happy, John.
Tiffany reluctantly moves to him, and as she leans forward, he forcefully grabs her face. "You can hump like a bitch in heat, but you better purr
whenever I call you. Now, wash up and make yourself smelling sweet for when I come to you.
Act 2, Scene 3. The lights slowly rise as Mr. Millstone is heard. Now stop right there. Something doesn't seem right here. I have known Mr. Gray long enough to know this type of behavior is grossly irregular, and it's beyond my comprehension the way you painted his wife. You lower their moral fibers beneath a gutter snipe. I'm trying to save your neck from stretching. From here to Alabama, and all I'm hearing is misleading embellishments. What's going on here, Thornton? Are you yanking me by my nose? No, sir. No, sir. Those are the facts. As true as I was born for my mama. As I said, I ain't lying. No, sir. I seriously have doubts about you. You keep touching around his gold. Do you realize you're defacing his memory by implicating him as a common thief, traitor, and despicable murderer? This man was more than just your employee, but he was your daddy. Yes, sir, he surely was. But I don't understand why people change for the worse. I guess time rots some things while making others beautiful. I don't figure I got an answer why that is. Do you? Well, let that lay for now. In assessing everything you've shared, I believe your only hope is unearthing the whereabouts of that Confederate gold. Oh, you think so, sir? Yes, I do. The jury will have more confidence in what you've said. Finding the gold will free me, sir? Let's say it will balance things more in your favor. Why, I'm real worried about Mrs. Tiffany, though. The gold has nothing to do with her. Oh, if they catch it with her, it will be. Tell me where it is, and we'll keep her out of it. The jury will be more suspicious of Mr. Holmes and the Colonel anyway. You think so, sir? From your accounts, I believe the court will be very interested hearing what these two gentlemen have to say, especially the Colonel wanting to take his wife and buried gold. You promise you'll protect her? When we offer the information, there is no telling how the worm will turn. You have my word of honor. I will do everything in my power to shield Mrs. Gray from suspicion. Do we have an understanding? Yes, sir, we do. If I fetch up the gold, you'll make things right for her? Not for her, but for your freedom. It sounds too good to be true, sir. Trust me, all the facts point in the direction of the Colonel. I'm caught between a rock and a hard place, sir. I give up the gold and they'll know Mr. Gray done a bad thing. But I suppose he won't think any lesser of me as an account he's a dead man. I guarantee you'll soon be sitting on one of Tilly's stools having a piece of peach cobbler pie. Take us to the gold, Thornton, and you'll be a free man. Well, sir, I overheard her talking with the Colonel on the night he died. He was there? Yes, sir. That puts him directly in the place and time of the crime. Go on, Thornton.
The lights began to slowly dim. I stayed up awake until nothing was rustling, but then heard soft footsteps coming down the staircase. It sounded like Mrs. Tiffany, but I don't know why she's up. The next thing I heard is a key turning in the front door lock and heavy boots shuffling across the hardwood floor into the parlor. It didn't sound like Mr. Gray, so I got out of bed to get a better fix on what's stirring. The lights dim to black.